My next guest is going to be making her debut on Dana White's Contender Series coming up here November 4th. It is Pauline Pita Macias joining me here on the program. Pauline, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing well. Good recovery, by the way, with that phone. I got to give you credit. You're like a veteran with that.
That was my dog, Champ.
No worries. No worries. It's all good. It's the old dog ate my homework excuse. I get it. It's all good.
No, I can't even.
But congratulations on getting this opportunity. Obviously, expected, I'm sure, with your career and your great record. When did you find out about this? Because I know for some fighters, they were booked earlier in the year, but with COVID and, them going to Fight Island, it kind of pushed things back. But when did you find out?
I'm trying to remember. I mean, originally I was supposed to have another fight in April before I was going to go to Contender Series. Obviously, because I fought right at the end of February, right before quarantine, thank goodness. But obviously with all that happening, and it was just, I think I found out about May that I was just going to go straight to Contender Series and not have another fight. So
there you go. Well, that's good. At least you knew something like this was going to happen. So that's always good. Let's start from the beginning, though. How did you get involved in combat sports?
Well, I had a 20-year judo career first. My last 8 years of that career were at the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs. So that's kind of where I started out. And I literally only did judo. I didn't know anything else but judo. I didn't even know which one was a jab and what a cross was or 1-2. I didn't know anything the first day I walked into an MMA gym. But obviously, I grew up with Ronda Rousey, and her success was amazing. And at the time, judo was really transitioning. They changed, I don't know how much you know about judo, but they changed the rules, and you can't grab the legs, and it just, and I noticed too, you do it your whole life, and I had completely fallen out of love with it. And if you don't love something, it's really hard to travel most of the year and make weight 40 times a year or something crazy, you know what I mean? So you have to really I don't know, it's hard. And I remember being so in love with it, and then I never knew that I would just one day realize I was out of love with it until it happened.
Interesting. Okay. So yeah, it was kind of like you said with Rousey kind of paving her way. It was kind of like, oh yeah, I could do that. So it sounds like you were a fan of MMA, even while you were training judo.
A little bit. I can't say I knew a lot about it. We all would sit there and watch the fights together on occasion. I think I probably knew the main names or something. I probably watch more boxing than MMA.
Okay, no, I like the honesty. Believe it or not, there's some fighters who don't watch fights at all. They're just I just train and everything else. So that's interesting. And then along with fighting, what else do you do for a living? What's paying the bills, or are you a full-time fighter?
Right now, I'm pretty much a full-time fighter. Fortunately, my partner Lynn takes care of a lot of the bills and whatnot, and sponsorships. There's no way I could live off of it, just nothing. And then I'm also a stunt woman. And technically
awesome.
An actress, but I don't really do acting for real.
Well, okay, but you probably have an IMDb page, right? So that definitely makes you an actress.
Yeah, and you know what? None of my, I think there are only a few things on there, and I've done so many things. I just have not, I just have been concentrating on fighting. It was more here's Ronda actually got me into stunts. She was like, hey, you were a gymnast, you were a cheerleader, so you can fall because of judo, you can fight. She's like, you should try stunts. And I was like, stunts? I was thinking cheerleading stunts. You know what I mean? I was like, okay. And no, and then you know what? I love it. I actually love it. I would love to do more of it. Obviously, it takes up a lot of time. So right now, I'm concentrating on fighting.
Yeah, there's a couple MMA fighters that have gone in that as well. I know Frank Trigg being one that comes to mind. Of
I worked with him on a show.
Oh, well, there you go.
SEAL team, yeah.
Very cool. Okay, yeah, that's interesting because it is it's neat to see fighters going in different directions in terms of in Frank's case, obviously he was done with fighting, so it's what's the next step, and it seemed like something that worked out well for him. How did you link up with Ronda Rousey? You were referencing she was giving you advice and stuff. How did was it just through the judo community? Yeah,
we're both from Southern California. I met her when I was probably 9 years old or something like that, 9 or 10, really, really, really young. Mm-hmm. And we've been friends ever since. I recently, not just a few years ago, found out that I was the first person that asked her to have a sleepover with me. I had no idea. She was just, I don't know. We just always clicked, always got along. It's easy to hang out with her. She's just a friend. You know what I mean? Just a friend that I've been my whole life. Really.
You guys still keep in touch now, even with all her?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Even like her mom and my mom still keep in touch. So like,
oh, okay. So it really good. Okay,
we're
interesting.
really
So close to
close,
teeth.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I could tell. If your moms are friends, I mean, that really seals the deal, right? So there you go.
Yeah, there's one woman I'm very terrified of. I'm not gonna lie.
No, fair enough. And then the other thing with you as well is you're with a really good management company, Iridium Sports. How did that come together? Are you linking up with them?
You know what? When I started with Factory X, I was wanting to look for a management team just because, you know, my partner Lynn was really doing everything for me. She literally got me all the way to the Contender Series, you know, and she worked in the medical field before, and she just kind of like took me under her wings, like, I believe in you. Let's do this, and figured it out and just ran it like a business. And yeah, but the thing is, like, come fight week, I really I can't, like, she was always doing all the running around, all the paperwork, everything. And I really just wanted her to be there with me during fight week as opposed to, you know, having to do all the business side of everything. So that's kind of how I, like, fell into that. I was looking for one, and I just started at Factory X, and Mark Montoya suggested Jason House. I spoke to him. You know, of course, I did my research. I asked around, and yeah, so I finally went with him.
Very cool. Let's talk about your opponent here, Gloria de Paula, 4-2 record. What do you know about her? How do you feel like you match up against her?
You know, I know I'm one of those people. I don't actually really like to like watch a lot of film on my opponents because, you know, I'm very much like, this is my fight. I'm going to play my game. And so, I mean, I know she has some good striking. I mean, from what I've seen on her, just the little bit I've watched. But yeah, I mean, I think that I'm really ready for anything, honestly. I mean, when it comes to
it's better that way anyways, because if the opponent switches up, then it's not like you're so fixated on a particular opponent. And by the way, I know a lot of fighters that don't watch tape. They let their coaches handle that. Randa Marcos, another strawweight, she's someone who won't watch any tape on her opponents. She's just like, I'll leave that up to my coaches. I'll go on autopilot, just listen to the coach, right? So sometimes that works out better.
Yeah, and that's actually what happened, how the fights get picked in. Like, there's a whole system they have at Factory X. Like, one coach gets the fight, and then they like totally analyze it and break it down and this and that, and they have a whole system. So I'm like, hey, my coaches are doing it, why do I have to stress about it anyway? You know what I mean? And but yeah, you know, I'm very one to believe, like in judo, we never knew, like, we didn't have a
right.
Like, you know, you just didn't know. You fight
it's not
so
like,
many
here's
people
8 weeks notice for your opponent. That just doesn't happen, right? So
no, it's like you were lucky if you knew if your opponent was right or left-handed. You know what I mean? So I mean, and anything can happen that day. And like you said, opponents switching up. Right now with COVID, it's like a constant thing. So, but anyway, in general, I really do just, I worry about my game. Yeah. And that's it.
Good call. Short answer there is just worry about your own game. No, it's all good. I liked hearing that. That's always interesting. I didn't even know that about the Factory X thing, so that's kind of interesting.
Oh, yeah, there's a whole system there.
So who are you getting to train with mainly in terms of, you know, sparring partners or training partners at Factory X? Who's been helping you get ready for this fight?
Oh, gosh, there's so many people on the mat. I mean, one person that I definitely, like, ask questions to not all the time, but, like, Brandon Royval, he's a southpaw, too, and sometimes you know, if I have, like, questions a little bit here, I'll be like, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? So, and obviously, you can tell he's doing really well right now in the UFC. Yeah. And they're just, you know what, there are just so many, like, lightweight guys there that we just, like, it's amazing to train with all these guys, you know what I mean? Because I know these guys, like, they crack me, man. They go after me. And they are so fast and so strong and so slick. And I'm like, all right, if I can handle these guys, I can handle anybody, you know, any girl out there. So
yeah, and it's good timing, too, because like it's only recently that they've sort of had these lighter fighters come through and be sort of like, you know, almost the face of the gym in some ways. Like you got Chris Gutierrez, Jonathan Martinez, Eustace Alal, you know, you mentioned Brandon Royval. I don't think he's back in the gym now, but Sid Bice was another sort of standout there that I know used to train there a lot.
Sid helped me a lot for my last fight, And all of those guys, like I've asked every single one of them a question at one point or another.
Yeah, we're trying to get Sid to. I think he's took a job or something. He's not training right now, is what I was hearing. Right?
I haven't seen him.
We got to get him back. He was UFC ready a while ago. It's just a matter of.
He is so good. Oh my gosh, he is unreal. Like I really hope he comes back. He is so good.
I know Brandon said he was working on it, so we'll see if that ends up happening. Because like I said, he was right on the cusp of getting in there, and
absolutely.
So we'll see what happens there. How's the weight cut going ahead of this fight? We got a lot of not a lot of time, but you got a bit of time here. How's everything going?
Yeah, no, actually, you know what? My nutritionist, Justin Nault, he's with Clovis Nutrition. He's unreal. Like I've been cutting weight since I was 11 years old, and so for me to like give my weight cut to someone is like really hard because that's like my baby. Like I know how to cut weight. I know my body better than anybody else. And Justin, man, he makes it so easy. I'm like already close to weight. Like if I had to make weight tonight, I could. Like it's like crazy. It's unreal, and I'm eating a ton still, and it's so impressive. I can't even, it's the science behind it is unreal. So thank you, Justin. That's someone I have to really thank.
There you go. Who's going to be in your corner for this fight?
So they're only allowing 2 corners because of COVID.
Yeah.
Which I was pretty bummed about because, like, I always have my dad in my corner, so he will not be able to be in my corner for this fight. But it's gonna be Mark Montoya and Professor Busy.
Oh,
you know,
excellent.
I don't know Busy's real name. Now I think about it.
I don't either. I always hear about Professor Busy. That's who they call. So I'd probably be good for me to look it up one of these days. But there you go. Obviously, feel like you're going to get your hand raised. Otherwise, why sign the contract? But how do you envision the fight playing out?
You know what? I'm not really one, like, yeah, there's a whole visualization. I do a lot more visualization as far as seeing my hand raised, seeing me throw my hands up because I won, doing my staple aerial at the end, which is a carbo with no hands, you know, and just because you don't know what's going to happen in a fight, no matter what. I have been drilling. I'm going to be ready for any reaction that comes. So we're just going to let it play out. Obviously, I plan on doing judo. I think there's no secret to that, but yeah, that's about all I've got.
And I know you thought about it, but winning that UFC contract, what would that mean to you and your wife and everything that's sort of going into this? You know, because it's obviously a huge, huge deal, especially when you're competing with other people on a card like this.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, it would be everything. I mean, it's life changing. You know what I mean? And I really truly feel I've worked my whole life for this. You know, and it's just time, and I'm ready. Like, I think, you know, they say timing is everything, and that's absolutely true. You know, my fight was supposed to be in September, and I was so upset when it got moved to November, but honestly, it's been the best thing that's ever happened. Like, timing is everything. Like, the things that have clicked lately are just unreal. And,
okay.
I mean, it's going to mean everything to me. Yeah, everything. Like,
What is downtime looking like right now in between, like, training and stuff? You guys watching any Netflix, or you playing any video games? Like, what do you like doing to kind of unwind? Maybe probably go hiking too. Colorado's beautiful. It
is beautiful, although there were a lot of fires and then it was snowing, so it's been kind of hard to go hiking and stuff. But right now, like, leading up to the fight, I'm doing a lot of interviews and stuff like that. Okay. So those take up a lot of time. But like, usually we like try to take my dog Champ on a walk. And then just watch Netflix, because, you know, we can't. They're closing Colorado right now again because of COVID. So I mean, there's nothing we can really do. I used to like just going to the movies and being in a dark place, not thinking about anything. But now I just watch some CSI and take Champ on walks. It's pretty boring.
There you go, living a simple life. But that's what you got to do as a fighter, right? So it definitely makes sense. Well, we didn't take up too much time here today. No. We got in under 15 minutes, so I really appreciate the time. Just remind people where they can find you on social media. And I know you got some sponsors. I know you got some shout-outs, so I'll give you the last word here.
Okay, yeah. My Instagram is Pauline Pita Macias. It's Pauline Pita Macias. And then my Twitter is Pita Macias MMA. My Instagram or my Facebook is also Pauline Pita Macias. A couple of sponsors. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just gonna say all of them. There's a list of them, but I mean, like, I'm really lucky to have my family. Like, a lot of my family members sponsor me. So, like, my uncle, he has his company Microchem. My other aunt and uncle, they have Happy Kids Pediatrics and Casa de Mina, which is a restaurant in Arizona. And of course, Clovis Nutrition, Justin with my nutrition. Yeah. And then Tootsie's from Nashville. I don't know if anybody knows Tootsie's from Nashville. It's like the oldest honky tonk in the world, but they have supported me since I was an amateur, and I have to thank them so much. Just Revolution sends me stuff. I'm trying to, of course, you know, I can't think, but literally everybody that I will list on social media, thank you guys so much. It means the world. So